Hello class, welcome to lesson 5.2a. So this is going to actually be a fairly simple lesson, I believe, because all you're going to have to do is say yes or no. So we kind of like questions like those. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to show that a function of a trig identity is equal to sine x. So if you get sine x as your answer, you're going to write yes. And if you don't get sine x, then you're just going to simply write no. It is that simple. Okay, so let's look at an example. This time our trig identities are going to be written as a function. So it's not going to be written as just as what you see. Alright, example. The function of x is equal to 1 minus cosine squared x over 1 over cosecant x. And what we want to do is see if this simplifies down to sine x. If it does, we write yes. If it doesn't, we write no. Alright, so let's look at 1 minus cosine squared x. So we bring out our little chart. 1 minus cosine squared x is sine squared x. So let's replace this with sine squared x over. Now we have 1 over cosecant x. 1 over cosecant x is equal to sine x. Sine x. Now, since this is a 2, and this would be understood as a 1, and we have a numerator and denominator, we subtract. 2 minus 1 is 1, and our answer is sine x. Since we get sine x as the answer, you will mark yes. It is, sine x is the function of that trig identity. And that's all you do. Okay, let's look at another example. Let's say we have the function of x is equal to sine squared x times cosecant squared x minus 1. Alright, since we're already at sine, and this is really not an identity, we're just going to leave it like it is. Now let's go ahead and find cosecant squared x minus 1. Cosecant squared x minus 1 is cotangent squared x. So this is cotangent squared x. Alright, but what is cotangent? Cotangent is cosine over sine. So I would have sine squared x times cosine squared x over sine squared x. Remember, since this is squared, these two would be squared also. Yeah, but look what's happening. Sine squared x is canceling out. And all you're left with is cosine squared x. So since that is not sine x, our answer would be no. Alright, let's do one more example just to make sure everybody understands what's going on. And then I'll give you your assignment. Let's say we have the function of x is equal to tan x cosine x over sine squared x plus cosine squared x. Now we got to be really careful with this one because there's a lot going on. Alright, so let's take our tan x first. We know tan x from our reference sheet is sine over cosine. So this would be sine x over cosine x, cosine x. over. Now what's sine squared x plus cosine squared x? Well, if we look carefully, sine squared x plus cosine squared x is 1. All this at the bottom is 1. Now, look what happens here. We have a cosine x and a cosine x that cancels each other out. So that gives you sine x over 1 or sine x, and that's what we want. We want sine x as an answer, so we would mark yes. Sine x is a function. Alright, so there you go, and just simply mark yes or no for each question.